So today, let's see if we can go back. We're going to take a look at day 3 here. So we're going to start with a review of what we've done before. And notice our answer, they need to be in radians. So where is our cosine root 2 over 2? Well, cosine is the x, and it's positive. So here's our cosine of root 2 over 2. I know that's 45-degree reference angles. So we know that it's 45 degrees. Down here is 315. So I know that this is pi over 4. And I know this is 7 times 45, so we have 7 pi over 4. Now the next one, we haven't looked at one like this. Where are sine and cosine equal to? Well, in a triangle, that means we want our x and our y the same. Well, I know that only happens at 45. So right here, if this is 45, we'd have root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. But it also happens in this quadrant, because this would be negative root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. So we have our two answers, 45 degrees, and here would be 225. So this is pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. And then this last one, let's see, subtract 2. So we have 4, the cosine squared of x equals 3. Divide by 4. So we have the cosine squared of x equals 3/4. Take the square root, and we remember to take the positive and negative. So that would be root 3 over 2. So we know it's going to be in all 4 quadrants. And it's the x part. So here's root 3 over 2, negative root 3 over 2. So these are 30-degree reference angles. So we have 30 degrees. Our second quadrant would be 150, 210, and 330. So we have pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, and 11 pi over 6. So the next one, we moved on and we also solved one where we had to use the quadratic formula. So instead of, here's our a value, our b, and our c. But instead of x equals, it's our sine of x equals opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's see, this is 25 minus 8, negative 24. So negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 49 over 4. So we have negative 5 plus 7 over 4, negative 5 minus 7 over 4. Well, this is 1/2. Negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3, so we don't use that one. So we know the sine of x equals 1/2. And if we were to draw this one out, sine is our y part of our triangle. Well, that got nice and crooked there. Whoops. And we know our reference angle here is 30. So over here we'd have 150 degrees, and over here it would be 30 degrees. Now the next one, this one's a challenge problem here, because we got secant and tangent. So anytime I see that squared, I go back to our Pythagorean identity. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we want the secant. Well, that would mean 1 over the cosine. So we can divide everything by the cosine squared. So we end up with tangent squared of x plus 1 equals the secant squared of x. So now we can replace this with tan squared of x plus 1. So we end up with 2
Don't forget to pick up your
tangent squared of x plus 1
before you get on the bus.
minus the tangent to the 4th of x equals negative 1. Distribute plus 2. And again, we'll set it equal to 0, and I like to make that highest power to the 4th positive, so I'm going to add this to each side. subtract 2, and subtract 2 tangent squared of x. So it looks very messy here, but now we have 0 tangent to the 4th of x minus 2 tangent squared of x minus 3. And we haven't factored this much, but let's say instead of tan 4th we just had x to the 4th minus 2x squared minus 3. Kind of like a quadratic here, we'd want it to multiply to negative 3 and add to 2, negative 2. So this would be x squared minus 3, x squared plus 1. But instead of x squared, we have that tangent. So this is going to be the tangent squared of x minus 3 times the tangent squared of x plus 1. And now if we set these equal to 0, we have tan squared of x minus 3 equals 0. Tan squared of x plus 1 equals 0. And now we have to solve these. So this is a long one here. Let's see, we end up with tan squared of x equals 3. So we can square root this. So where does the tan of x equal plus or minus the square root of 3? Well, we might remember from previous, this is 60. So this is all of our 60-degree ones. So we have 60, because again, this is root 3 over 2 over 1/2. So our tangent gives us root 3. So 60, 120, 240, and 300. And then the second one, we end up with the tan squared of x equals negative 1. We can't square root a negative, so that one would not work there. So we just have those 4. And this was a tricky one. Lots of steps involved in that one. We'll be practicing some more like that. So this next part, once again, we have to solve for our angle. And we're not going to worry about this yet. This is our giant theta here. We're figuring out our angle. So where does our sine equal 1/2? So this is 30 and 30. So our answers would be 30 degrees, and I notice it's radians, so that's going to be pi over 6. And over here we have 150, so that's 5 pi over 6. But we're not just solving for our angle here. Our theta are these two. So we want to know, when does x minus pi over 6 equal 5 pi over 6? And when does x minus pi over 6 equal pi over 6? So if we solve these, we add pi over 6. So x equals 5 pi over 6 plus pi over 6 is just pi. Add pi over 6. So we have x equals 2 pi over 6, which is pi over 3. So it's a little trickier, but we're doing that same first step. We're just finding our angles, and then what's right here we said equal to the angle. So we have negative 1/2. Well, I know that these are 30s again, so our answer would be 330 degrees and 210. And now since we don't have a radian measurement, it's just 2, we know that that's what this equals, is 210. So we know 2x equals 210, or 2x equals 330. Divide by 2. So x equals 105 degrees. Divide by 2. So x equals 115 degrees. So again, it's that same first step, and then we just set it equal to what we have there. Wait, we just did that one. All right, so that's a repeat, so let's try this one. So let's add 2. So 6, the cosine of 2x equals 3. Divide by 6, so that we have the cosine of 2x equals 1/2. So what are our angle measurements? Well, it's 1/2, and it's our cosine. So let's see, this would be 30, so we got 60. And we can leave it in degrees here, so we have 60 and 300. So our answer here, this angle measurement, 2x equals 60 and 2x equals 300. So x equals 30 and x equals 150. And this last one here, notice it's in radians. So if we subtract 1, we have the sine of x minus pi over 2 equals negative half. So that is so crooked there. I totally apologize. All right, so there's our y. So we know that this is 30 and 30. So we got 330 and 210, but it's in radians. So this is 7 times 30 and 11 times 30. So we got 7 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6. So you have x minus pi over 2 equals 7 pi over 6. And x minus pi over 2 equals 11 pi over 6. This is the part you guys might not like. These fractions, common denominators, well, 6. Well, if this was with 6, this would be 3 pi over 6. So we add 3 pi over 6. So we have x equals 10 pi over 6, which is 5 pi over 3. And let's see, common denominator, so we're really going to be adding 3 pi over 6, because we're adding 1/2. So x equals 14 pi over 6, or 7 pi over 3.